In today's video, we have brand new information about Season 10, the free update that is launching on Monday, October the 13th. So I think this helps answer a lot of the questions me and other content creators have been asking for the past year. But hello everyone, and welcome to another New World video. My name's Brian. If you happen to be new here, I'm rocking my New World pin that Amazon just sent alongside this little mystery box, which I'm not allowed to open to a certain date. Don't worry, we'll be doing that live here on the channel, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I do have, and have been told, there's no breaking Season 10 news inside this box, but it's going to be fun to figure out what it ends up representing anyway. But we do have full-on details about Season 10, and there's some really good things to be excited about, and there's some things that I just kind of want to share my thoughts about this overall in today's video. So let's dive into it, starting off with the announcement. The name of Season 10 is Nighthaven. With Season 10 Nighthaven, explore the hidden realm from Eternum for generations, uncover the fate of the Tier of Gaia, navigate treacherous alliances, and face threats born from darkness itself between a mysterious new zone, evolving endgame systems, and a 10-player raid. This season reshapes how you will journey and endure. Nighthaven update will release Monday, October the 13th, and will be free for all New World Eternum owners. And that also is going to be something that I think they should just give out New World Eternum. If you own, like, I think Amazon should just give out Rise of the Angry Earth as a part of this. If they're going to make Nighthaven free, I think at this point, enough time has passed. Anybody who's going to buy it has bought it. They've already bought the Eternum, so this is a nice free update. For those who bought the original game, I don't know, that could just go a long way of re-inviting a whole bunch of people back to the game, with the promise that they don't have to spend money. They can check out the new weapons and more. And then obviously with Nighthaven being free, love to hear your thoughts, but let's continue. So they say the new zone is Nighthaven. Checks out. And the ancient land rich with history, Nighthaven was largely cut off from the rest of Eternum for lifetimes under a direction of its powerful king. For those of you who did visit the haunting woods and the mighty castles that tell stories of mysterious figures, tall and lithe, engaged both in the politics in the court and the dark hallways of the land's many ruins. These inhabitants can be both charming and welcoming, and vicious and fearsome, depending on how they view those and they will interact with. They rule at the behest of their king, carving out pieces of the land that they oversee on its behalf. There are also stories of monstrous creatures that seem to exhibit the qualities of both man and beast. Although they have largely been known to stalk the dark forest and hills of Nighthaven, they haven't really, anyway, they haven't recently become bolder. Seems strange to say that. I'm just going to kind of jump back in here. They haven recently. I don't know. I'm struggling with that. Let me know if that's me. Probably me. I'm dyslexic. Welcome to the club. All right. Becoming a more ever-present threat. Nighthaven is a land shrouded in mystery, where the dark holds sway over the light. Power lies deep in the catacombs and ruins, and the land of those who are bold enough and brave enough to venture there. Discover the secrets hidden in the shadows in the ancient halls, and use them to confront threats endangering not only the people of Nighthaven, but the whole of Eternum as well. So this obviously kicks up with the new story, the Tier of Gaia. After the events of the Elysian Wilds, Morgaine left with the Tier of Gaia to sequester it somewhere safe, away from the ambitious intent. However, it seems like her journey was met with ill fortune, and the Tier has gone missing, and she is once more turning to the Soul Warden in an attempt to recover the Tier and be able to keep the world safe from whatever nefarious intent may be planned for it. Travel to the newly discovered land of Nighthaven, engage with the enigmatic and mysterious figures that call it home. As you search the divine artifact, search through ageless ruins and the facades that opulous as you would uncover the truth that is happening in the isolated and reclusive land. But be wary, as trust is commonly in short supply throughout of Nighthaven. So they got a new game mode. This is something that I'm really looking forward to. This is the, the procedurally generated expeditions They say dungeons here. Let's dive into what they got to say. This is something I've been personally very excited about because I felt like every season since Eternum not getting a new expedition has felt like a little bit of a step back, but maybe this is going to be something that's going to help with that here. So it says Catacombs is a new game mode in which 3 players explore the depths of a procedurally generated dungeon, battling a wide variety of enemies and bosses, gaining unique mode-specific power-ups, collecting cursed resources and currency, and racing to successfully exit the cleanse their treasures before time runs out. While the difficulty of Catacombs is moderate at the start of the session, the challenge and reward is increasingly significantly each time a boss is defeated. To counter this, players are able to acquire in-mode power-ups to enhance their stats and abilities. With each boss defeated, players must decide between pushing further into the Catacombs for even greater rewards, or safely making it to the exit before time runs out. Failure to make it to a safe exit results in the loss of a vast majority of the treasures collected, but only one player needs to safely exit to avoid this. This sounds cool. This in and of itself, I think, is where I'm going to hopefully put a lot of time into it, and hopefully it's a lot of fun. I'll let you know how I feel, obviously, when we get to go hands-on here on the 13th. I think I probably need to schedule that day off work, and if I can, the next day. That'd be a lot of fun. Either way, we'll find out. The life of a of a dad is good. I like it. All right, new raid, the Isle of Night. This is great. New raid. This is the second raid that's been added in. They're talking about adding in matchmaking to raids. With the raid in and of itself, I do wonder if we start to see a kind of a habit of a raid a year, which tends to bring out a lot of excitement, a lot of marketing potential if you start getting those world first raiders kind of building that out. But we'll have to wait and see if that ends up being something that ends up being built into New World going forward. Anyway, it says the Isle of Night is a new 10-person endgame raid. The raid is set in a once magnificent kingdom whose inhabitants have now fallen lost. Similar to the length of the format of the Hive of Gorgons, this raid features 3 new bosses and multiple new enemy types, like puzzles and set-piece encounters. This raid will become one of the hardest contents in Season 10, demanding players gear up to coordinate to succeed. They've also overhauled endgame progression. Nighthaven begins with the numerous game-wide changes to systems, progression, gearing, and rewards. Our goal is that these changes is to form a connective tissue that motivates you a variety of play and endgame activities and enables players to customize their loadouts in ways they never could before to discover unique and powerful combinations of equipment. So the level cap going to 70, not a real shocker there. The gear score going up to a max of 800. Along with this level cap increase, gear score is raising from 725 to 800. PvP modes, which currently scale gear to 700, will now scale to 775. New gear modding system, perk charms. Instead of one customizable gem socket, gear can now have up to 4 empty sockets into which players can install new perk modifiers called charms. Charm sockets and charms themselves have 3 types: defensive, offensive, and skill. These charms can be picked up and fully refined, but more commonly, you will need them to be crafted with rare materials which drop from endgame content. There we go. Game economy, player economy. Love to see it. Set bonuses are also being introduced. As they are introduced set bonuses in New World for the first time, these ultra rare sets of gear will be earned from pinnacle endgame content like the Isle of Night raid, the Catacombs, the PvP track, etc. We want to encourage players to mix and match these sets to achieve their desired build type, so they aren't all or nothing. Set bonuses come in 2 types. Some bonuses activate at 2 equipped pieces, and then they get better at 4 equipped pieces, so 2 out of 4. And some only activate at 3 pieces and then get better at 5 pieces, 3 out of 5. This means that there are 7 possible combinations of set bonus configurations: 2-2-2-2-2, 4-4-2, yada yada yada, and all that. It's up to you to decide the best combination and the effects that best suit your unique playstyle. Umbrals are getting a massive overhaul. To round out the long-term chase, we're ushering in a new generation of umbral shards. This means that all gear in the new paradigm stays viable, the upgradable with umbrals rather than the clunky system at the gypsum kiln. Any gear with gear score of at least 700 can be upgraded with umbrals. The system now works slightly different than umbrals in the past, as you now have a currency with a wallet with a cap of 1,000 and a weekly rate limit to earn. This will keep Umbral value from deteriorating over time, which has been a problem and that they saw in previous versions of the system. They're also infixing perks. This will still be a unique piece of gear with powerful and rare perks called infixes. These will function similarly to how the unique perks on artifacts work. Now, attribute changes are also getting an overhaul. There are no longer any perks which increase attributes. We felt these perks didn't really result in meaningful choice between two good alternatives, so we decided to reclaim that slot for more interesting perks. All of the attribute points that we use to come in these perks have been instead added to the native attribute point pool granted by normal leveling. And to make sure that it's easier to manage, we've made gear set storage loadouts now also save your current attribute loadout. The attribute perk on existing gear that has been replaced on the other perks of relative low power, since players will keep the power and attribute perks used to yield. They've also done a complete sweep through the collection of perks to make sure some structural changes. The goal is to make perk selection conditional and thoughtful, to eliminate must-have perks and simply raise the critical combat numbers like damage, stamina, and cooldown reduction with some kind of meaningful drawback. And finally, the last highlight that they have here is the new OPR map, The Tower. The Tower rises above the myths, a Gothic fortress fusing ancient magic and engineering brilliance atop the mountain peak, battled across 3 vertical layers of dark grandeur and a commanding castle heights in the corrupted depths below. Jump pads and strategic pathways create constant warfare and while 3 capture points drive the action. Underground passage, hide valuable mines in fearsome areas, provide tactical options for game-changing resources in this 20v20 battlefield. Victory belongs to those who can master both the heights and the depths of combat. And obviously they want us to keep a lookout. With Season 10, the OPR map preview schedule is September 23rd to September 30th. And they also want to highlight a developer video, Season 10, when it drops in early October. A couple things I mentioned, obviously we think that we're getting daggers, just heads up, but it's not. And I think it's been confirmed. Like, it's not happening with the launch of Season 10, but it could be something easily happening shortly after or some period after. And honestly, I think that's a really good way to generate excitement with upcoming seasons, as opposed to just putting it all in the season update. And then you can introduce new weapons, which basically just makes the sandbox of weapons and classes and things like that kind of get a shift. We saw that happen kind of in year 1, and they went to kind of the expansion model and then essentially the free update model. Honestly, kind of all for it. I think this is going to be great for console players. I think this is going to be great for people who especially play MMOs on console, namely when you start to think about the competition that's out there and what New World's offering for free, where with no sub, while at other places it just ends up being an additional cost. Regardless, we'll be hanging out when I can open up this box, take a look at keep it locked to the channel. And if you're new here and you watched all the way to the end of the video and you haven't subscribed, I'd welcome you to, maybe consider hitting that button. But beyond that, and you don't have to do it here, YouTube has this new hype feature. I think it's only on mobile phones. So if you're watching on mobile, you see a button that says hype. You don't need to do it to this channel, but I think you get 3 a week. So if you got a creator out there that you really like, this is just a reminder, go out and use that, because I think it really does help the numbers. And we've seen a lot of YouTubers complain about their numbers. Perhaps the hype feature is to be, the reason. Either way, thank you for spending time with me. I hope you got something great out of this video. I can't wait to share more New World with you guys, as well as other MMORPG news and development. We also just got the announcement of Blue Protocol's release for October the 9th. So man, I don't have enough PTO for all this. All right, guys, hopefully you had a great day. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care. Got a little New World coin on it. Oh, it's a pin. Oh, it's a pin. Cool. Well, put this pin on. Cool New World pin. There it is. All right.
Heard a whisper on the wind, heard the doom saying right, but I kept that sub renewing, cause Ginger Prime said give it time. It turned